Hey guys, I just want to give you a heads up. Mama and I are talking about Adolescence this episode. It's a new Netflix short series that came out. There will be spoilers, so if you wanted to check out Adolescence, I would stay away from this episode and go watch it and come back. Let us know what you think. Okay, bye.
Welcome to Current Chatter, the place where we dive into the latest news and happenings going on around the world. Join mother and son duo Kota and Losa as they engage in lively debates over current affairs and anything else that sparks a discussion. With diverse perspectives and a bit of fun, you never know what topics will come up next. Tune in every Friday afternoon for your weekly dose of Current Chatter.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Current Chatter. I am here with Mama as always. We got little Enzo here on the job site today too. He's being extra feisty with me today.
So if we hear you yell out in pain, it's because Enzo is biting.
Yeah, he's not biting. He doesn't bite very hard. I say ow so he feels like he's caught his prey. Ow. Ow.
Well, how was your week this week?
My week was good. Trying to get used to the new schedule at work. I am working a little bit of extra hours to bring in a little bit of extra money. So yeah, that's been okay. How about you, Mama? How was your week?
It was full. It shouldn't have been full, but it was full. And, I start my new job on Monday, so I'm really nervous about that. We'll see if that happens, so knock on wood.
If that happens, did you pass your drug test?
I didn't.
Well, I mean, like, did they say you were good?
They said I was, and that I sent them a copy of my weed card, because here in Utah you have to have a weed card.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent that to them, so we'll see.
Well, that's all that matters. Sounds like you're good to go.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So, Monday, Mom texted me and was like, Coda, you have to watch this show on Netflix. It's called Adolescents. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'll check it out. And she sent me the trailer, and I was like, well, I'm definitely fucking checking this out. It came out last week, right? Last Friday?
Yeah.
And you and Dad binge watched it, right? You watched the whole thing in a sitting?
Friday, yeah. Friday, we were up till like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, that's late as fuck for you guys.
Yeah, it is.
I was say, you guys hardly ever make it to New Year's every year.
I know. So to stay up to watch, it was such a good miniseries. I didn't understand it until it was all done, the different pieces of it.
See, and I felt the same way when I watched it. So what it boiled down to was a young man had been accused of murdering a 13-year-old girl, one of his classmates, and it basically touched a lot on incel behavior. And like,
what do you mean incel? They said that in the show, and me and Dad didn't know what incel meant.
So incel, and my knowledge on incel is very limited, so don't take me to the bank on this, but incels are a group of gentlemen who feel like the world has done them wrong and women are to blame for the fact that they aren't able to get partners.
It's the 80-20 rule that they were saying, right?
Correct. Yeah. So that also has to do with, so the 80-20 rule in the show was 80% of women are only attracted to 20% of men. And the incel community has, from what I looked at, and I was only researching it on my way home from work, they feel that women only want a certain type of man or partner. And hold on, Mama. Come on, sweet girl. Yes, come on. Come on. We're working, so you gotta be good. Yes. Come on, Lucy. Yeah, come on, Mama. Can you hear her meowing at me?
Yes.
Screaming at me? Okay, so let's start this over. So, incels are men that believe that women are to blame for the reason why they can't get partners. Let me just look up the definition because I'm going to butcher it.
Do you have, what kind of dictionary do you have that you're just looking this up in?
Google.
Oh. I was wondering.
Okay. So, incel, according to Google's dictionary, is a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with the views that are hostile toward women and men who are sexually active. So they really feel like they're not part of that 80-20 group. They're too ugly to attract women, and women are to blame for all of this. From the little understanding I have, they're really just women haters. And there are some really disgusting things that these men say and do on these online platforms. It's just a different point of view that I don't have. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, these guys, yeah, they're not the, yeah.
It sounds like they just are wanting something that they can't have, and so that they make it sound like, if I can't have it, nobody can.
Kind of, yeah. They blame women for everything, basically.
Yeah.
They blame their mothers, they blame their sisters.
That was just in the first episode that we got that. So what did you think of the second episode?
Well, the first episode, I want to go back to that, because the first episode, I didn't believe that Jamie had committed this crime. I thought he was completely innocent until the last 10 minutes of the episode, where they have him on videotape murdering this.
So there will be spoiler alerts in this video, in this podcast. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry, guys. We can't talk about it and not have spoiler alerts. But if you want to check it out, please go check it out and then listen to the podcast. Like, it was definitely, it caught my attention so hard.
So me and Dad watched it, and at the end of the first episode, we just looked at each other like, how is that? Like, is that really him? Is that real? Like, because he's saying it's not him, and the whole first episode, you really believe that it's not him who did this. It's like somebody else. It's something else completely going wrong. Then that they nail it down with, here's a video of you doing your...
In the outfit that you have, we can't find these clothes at your house, but I've got your sneakers. And, like, we're going to find blood on these sneakers. It was a big thing. And it just was like, watching his father watch that video was heartbreaking. When that father finally realized what his son had done, because the whole time the father's like, there's no way he could have done this. He's such a good kid. He's a bright kid. You've just got to be mistaken. There's no way he could have done. And then just like Jamie went to go like touch his dad. I think his name was Eddie, right? It was Eddie was the father's name.
I think so.
He went to go touch Eddie, and Eddie completely like deflected the touch, and it just was like, you almost forget it's actors, really, like just the way that they were able to portray that. Just the first episode, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it really left you reeling, because you felt bad for the girl, you felt bad for Jamie, you felt bad for the cops, the situation, the kids, all the kids in the situation. But you also didn't know what you didn't know, because some of this stuff, like, is that they were talking about, like the incel and the texting and what you need to know about texting in order to be able to read the text messages. And I didn't know that there was such a deep, like, what am I thinking? A deep, like, connection with all of that other stuff,
That's another thing, is I loved the way they filmed this series. Like, there was never a cutaway. The camera constantly kept moving into other scenes, and that's
one of the things I read last weekend about it, was that it was filmed in one shot.
Isn't that fucking wild?
Each scene, and the scene is, of course, the episode is done without any cutaways. Mm-hmm. And the actors had to really improvise in order to make sure that they said everything that they were supposed to, and that they hit their marks where they needed to. And
yeah, absolutely. I loved the way that they filmed it. It was so seamless, the way that it was fantastic. Like, I would love a horror movie filmed this way, because there would just be it would be so good.
Well, it's considered a drama horror, isn't it?
That I don't know. It may be, yeah.
Yeah. So the second episode was where he was with whom? I forget. I'm sorry.
So the second episode never showed Jamie at all. It was the investigators going through the school, and they were letting the school know, hey, this happened. You can talk to such and such person. We're going to be here all day if you guys want to come forward and talk. And they also interviewed Jamie's friends. And then the one gal, the girl that died, they interviewed her best friend. And her best friend was a fucking badass. Like, I can't imagine.
Kind of a cuckoo head.
Well, she just lost like the one person that understood her. Like, she even talks about how the gal was the only. I think the girl's name was Heather. Wasn't that the?
Yeah, the best friend's name.
I think I would act the same way if my best friend just died and now I have to like go to school. I don't think I would have gone to school.
Yeah.
And she went to school, and then. Rin had a interesting outlook, because one of Jamie's friends looks very similar to him. Looks like him, like almost to a T.
That's what I thought too. I said to your dad, I said, "Do you think that was really him in the video and not Jamie?"
Rin
and
called
Dad was
it.
like, "I don't know."
Rin called that almost immediately too. So then after that, because Rin is very good at like their premonition, they're very on top of shit like that. Like it's very rare that they're wrong about certain things. So that whole time I thought, oh well, maybe he did do it. And then there was a fire alarm that happened, and all the kids left the building because of the fire, or the fire alarm being pulled. And the one gal whose best friend, the girl who her best friend had just died, marched up to Jamie's best friend and knocked the shit out of him. Just kicked this boy's ass.
Yeah.
She came out swinging.
And everybody was joking with him. They're like, you just got your ass handed to you by a girl.
Yeah. Did you catch where she said you killed my best friend?
Yes, I did catch.
So right then I was like, oh yeah, he's guilty. Fuck this guy. Like they don't know who they've got. Like I was still on Jamie's innocence. And so the main police officer was like, well, I'm going to go talk to his best friend one more time. Because I don't know if the cop had caught on to what the gal had said when she kicked his ass. But he's like, well, I'm going to go talk to him one more time. And
the kid runs.
Yeah, the kid jumps out of a window and just starts hauling ass. And you have to remember, like, it's all filmed. The camera is running behind the cop, and it's all just one fluid movement. And the whole time in the second episode, too, the one thing they're looking for is the murder weapon. And they catch up with Jamie's best friend, and they're like, hey, you got to be fucking straight with me. Do you know where the murder weapon is, or do you know how Jamie got it? And the best friend was finally like, yeah, it was my knife, because he stabbed the girl to death. And then I was like, hook, line, and sinker, you fucking got him. Like, there's no way Jamie is innocent. And then that's how it ends. That's how the second episode ends.
Right. And you're like, okay, I feel like I know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. And then the third episode.
And I have something to tell you about that, is that he is the actor who plays Jamie. This is his first acting gig, and they took him in, and they did this third episode was the first episode they filmed.
Really?
And so this young guy's never acted a day in his life, and that third episode had me like jumping up and down, screaming at the TV.
Mm-hmm. The third episode was by far the best episode. That was my favorite episode of it all. Oh, one thing we should touch on is the second episode is really when you finally get the idea of the incel. They talk about text messages, or it was all Instagram posts that Jamie had put on, and the girl that had died had said that Jamie was an incel with a red pill. And they had mentioned like the red pill and the blue pill meant something specific. I can't remember right at this time. But during my research on the incel stuff, there is incels, and then there's black pill incels, and those are a different genre of incels. Those are the ones who want to do hate crimes against women.
Oh, wow, really?
There is some truth to that pill thing that they are talking about in that series as well. Just in the second episode, that's when you get the idea of the pills. Yeah. But back to the third episode. Do you want to give the premise or the idea to the third episode?
So the third episode starts with a new character that we're introduced, a therapist who's trying to decide if Jamie is insane, or if he did this, or if he should be to blame. And he comes over as such a timid, shy little thing, and then would lose it out of the blue.
Oh, yeah.
And go crazy on the therapist. Like, he wouldn't physically hurt her, but he would scream at her, and then she was terrified of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He just would he'd flip his switch so heavily about everything that was going on. Hold on, Mama. I gotta grab cats. Hold on 1 second. These fucking cats are gonna run me ragged. This is a podcast first. I have all of the naked cats together. Our oldest naked cat, Willow, is not the biggest fan of Enzo and Lucy, so we'll see how it goes. She's doing okay now, because I moved her out of the way.
No, so the therapist is there to question Jamie, and Jamie, you get to see what Jamie's really like, who he really is, what really happened, and it is devastating from a perspective, from a parent's perspective, from a mom's perspective. I just felt so bad, but that's more in the fourth episode than the third episode that I felt bad.
Yeah, the third episode was just so, what's the word I'm looking for? It was
intense.
It was very intense, and I had some awkward moments, and I was like, oh my god, is this kid about to flip his top? And
yeah, it made you leave episode 3 you're like, he did it. Of course he did it. He's insane.
Yeah, he's absolutely crazy. So On Facebook, I am sending you a link, and I would like you to read it on the podcast, and it goes into a little more depth of the third episode and like some of the background meanings.
This is an article from news18.com, and it's called The Hidden Meaning Behind Jamie's Sandwich and Bedroom in the Netflix Adolescent Storyline. So Adolescence is a gripping crime drama that follows 13-year-old Jamie Miller, whose life unravels after he gets entangled in the murder of a female classmate. Since its debut, this show has sparked crucial conversations about the impact of online communities and our young men. Standout moment in Adolescence comes in episode 3, where Jamie is interviewed by psychiatrist Breeny, played by Erin Doherty. Before their conversation begins, Breeny offers Jamie half of her cheese and pickle sandwich, a seemingly small gesture that psychologist Daniel Haig suggests may actually be a subtle test. The half sandwich, particularly the fact that it contains something that Jamie dislikes, could be a way of testing his response. Does he just push it away? Does he eat it to be polite? Does he comment on it? These reactions provide insight into his own personality, Haig said. Haig also explained that if Jamie had simply accepted the sandwich without protest, it might have revealed the pattern of feeling powerless or being accustomed to having things done to him rather than for him. It's a clever way of gauging how Jamie sees himself in relation to authority figures and whether he feels able to assert his own needs. The psychologist further mentioned that small details in a psychological setting are never unintentional. Even the hot chocolate could be a way to comfort him and make him feel at home.
Yeah, so she ends up offering him the sandwich. He says, maybe I'll eat it. I haven't decided yet. But
Right.
I had read that article and I didn't catch on to that being a test, you know?
Yeah. She was expecting him to do something. I think she knew that he didn't like pickles, and so that's why she gave him a pickle sandwich.
Mm-hmm. Which I would have to try a pickle and cheese sandwich and see if it's any good.
Right? Your dad would love it.
Another running theme in the third episode was Jamie would just become irrationally mad, and at some point he was telling this female therapist that she's not allowed to tell him what to do or how to feel or what to say. And that was another point to the incel behavior of how I presume that they feel that women are always telling them what to do or say or feel.
Right, and not letting them have their own emotions. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And he accuses her of being, he's like, you're one of them, the 20%.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has some hatred for his therapist in that, but I think they both did such a good job in episode 3 that you just can't not be like, holy crap.
Yeah. And the closing scene is Jamie leaving and pounding on the glass windows, telling her to let his dad know that he's okay. Because the only person Jamie's ever worried about is how his dad perceives him. And again, he has a mother and an older sister, and he never once mentions wanting to know how they're doing or how they're feeling.
Oh, well, the therapist brings him up, and he's like, well, why would I care about?
Yeah, absolutely. He's
very nonchalant about his family,
mm-hmm.
his mother and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad, no, he had to have his dad's approval.
Yeah, exactly. And then it just cuts to the therapist, and she just, she lets one single tear fall, and just pulls herself back together, because I can't imagine the things that she was going through in that instance, because I guess they had several sessions before this, and
right.
She was like, this is our final session, and he just fucking lost it. And I was such good acting, I forgot there was acting. It was hard for me to realize that it was a documentary. It was something else. It was something else.
It's not a documentary. It's not a true story.
No, I'm saying it was hard for me not to remember that it wasn't.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it the opposite. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, and then, so that was the end of episode 3, and you're under the impression, you're like, no, Jamie crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
And that therapist was lucky to get away with, what she got away with, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then episode 4, the final episode, is all about the aftermath. It's set 15 months following the killing.
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie's still in jail, and he complains about that in this third episode. He's like, why do I have to be in jail? And his best friend who gave him the knife and stuff isn't in jail. But Jamie's in jail. I thought it was really poignant the way they kind of tied it all together, that final episode, bringing the family back.
Yeah.
And concentrating on how the dad
has to deal with all this. So the premise of the fourth episode, it's his dad's 50th birthday, and they're trying to have it as normal as possible. And what you're seeing is the after effects of how they could never possibly have a normal life. They just can't.
Right.
At one point, the oldest daughter goes out and sees that the dad's van has been vandalized. And I had to look up what the vandalism was because it's a British term that I'd never heard before. Do you remember what it said?
It's a nano or something like that.
I've got it right here. Noance? How would you pronounce that?
Noance, yeah.
Noance is a slang term chiefly used in Britain for allegation or convicted sex offenders, especially ones involving children.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that spray painted on his van, and he tries to go wash it off, and the spray paint doesn't come off with soap and water. So then they go to like a Home Depot to try and find something, and the dad runs into another incel that even says, "Hey, if you decide to buy
an incel child."
Well, he's old enough to work. You know, he was. I would say 15 or 16 is what this person was portrayed as.
Recognizes the dad.
Yeah, he does recognize the dad. And he says, hey, if you want to get Jamie a better lawyer, I know a group of people online who will put money forward. And that was a little hint to, because a lot of the incel, they have a lot of like chat groups and whatnot, and they just sit and talk shit on women the whole time. Yeah. So that was another little point at them. And then the dad is like, bro, fuck off, you're kind of weird, and grabs paint. And he sees a group of kids that he thinks has been following him that may have spray painted his car or his van, and goes and doesn't attack the children, but he roughs them up. You know, he grabs them. Yeah, he grabs them by the scruff and is shaking the shit out of them. And is like, you don't know what I'm going through, motherfucker. Like, you can't do this to people.
Right. Yeah.
And then he gets a little uncunted at the parking lot and opens the paint can and throws the paint on the
van.
On the van. And then they're driving home, and guess who calls?
Jamie from prison.
Jamie calls, and he's under the impression that it's just him and his dad speaking. Mom and the sister don't say anything, and Jamie's like, hey dad, I know this is a bad time, but I am going to change my plea to guilty. And I think that's when it finally sets in for the whole family that Jamie
actually did it.
Yeah.
He did it. And he's admitting to it.
And then the mom speaks up and says, hi, Jamie. And Jamie's demeanor totally changes. He's like, I was under the impression that I was talking to dad. That's really how he said it. And then the sister starts to chime in, and Jamie's giving very one-worded answers. And then Jamie finally ends the call. It pans to the parents going upstairs and having a conversation about well, what did we do to make Jamie like this? Well, he was just a boy that liked to draw and hang out at the kitchen table. And then he got older and started to only be online. He wanted nothing else to do with anybody else but these online forums. He just wanted to sit on his computer all day.
Right.
Yeah.
And it ends so poignantly with the father.
Mm-hmm.
On Jamie's bed crying. And he's like, I'm sorry, son.
He tucks in Jamie's teddy bear and is just sobbing. Just feels so bad. He doesn't understand how Jamie ended up like this and all. And it was just such a poetic scene. I can't. It was so well written. And I went online and found out that the dad is one of the co-directors.
Oh, really? Do you know Brad Pitt was one of the directors too?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
The other thing to it was they had originally wanted the dad to crawl into Jamie's bed, and that's how they were going to end the series, but it just didn't feel authentic enough. And then he improvised tucking the bear in, and that's where we got that scene where he tucks the bear in and just tells Abe, apologizes to the bear as if it's Jamie.
From a parental standpoint, that last episode, it really touched me. I felt so bad for them. They didn't know where they wanted to live in their life because they couldn't move away because they would always be recognized as Jamie's family.
Yeah, it would only be, if they moved, it would only be a matter of time before someone recognized them, and then it would start this whole thing over. Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a poignant story all around, pulled right from today's headlines kind of thing, with the incel and then the Instagram and all that.
I went into it not knowing anything, just had seen the trailer that Mom sent me, and I dove in. Yeah, I binged it too. I couldn't stop watching it, and I was upset that it ended. I wanted.
There's got to be more to of this?
Yeah.
And me and your dad started searching. We're like, nope, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 5 stars being the best, what would you give it?
I would probably give it high 4s. I don't think I would give it a 5. I have never. Is there something that I would give 5 stars other than Forrest Gump? No, I don't. It's definitely like a 4.7 for me. It's really, really good. It was.
Oh yeah,
It was,
I would definitely do a 4.4. I would almost give it a 5. I just thought it was so well done. And then to find out that the guy playing Jamie is a brand new actor. This was his first film ever and first acting gig.
I can't believe his first acting gig was that 3rd episode, because that 3rd episode, the 3rd episode is what really brought me in. Like it was so good. That 3rd episode took me for a fucking ride.
Yeah, it did. And it really made you think, like, he is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then they show the family in the last episode, and you're just like, they're like, how did we make this? The mom's word, it's the same way that we made our daughter.
It's just Jamie. That's the ultimate thing, is it has nothing to do with the way they raised him. I just think Jamie was broken.
Yeah.
It was incredible. For sure. It was very, very good.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. So what do we have coming up in the next week?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Netflix is coming out with, they had The Lost Girls come out, and I'm so excited to check that out.
It's on Netflix. And what's it about? What are The Lost Girls about?
It's a true crime documentary, and I don't know anything about it other than that it's true crime, and I'm really excited about it.
That's all you need.
Yeah. I'm sure probably next week we will touch on the stock market crashing and how Trump is to blame for that.
All right, do some research on it, and then I will too.
I don't think Mom agrees with me.
Not quite. That's not on my bingo card for the week. Let me just put it to you that way.
I don't have anything else. Mama, you got anything else?
I don't have anything, and I appreciate everybody's hard work. We are now officially on every place that you can listen to a podcast except for YouTube. So go ahead and make sure that you listen to it from where you like to listen to your podcast. But make sure that you leave us a comment and subscribe and take a listen to review our. Give us 5 stars because we love you.
And we really like doing this.
We do. All right. That's all I had, Kota. You have anything else?
No, I think I'll just close it the same way I do every week. Make sure you drink your water and talk to your therapist, guys.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Come on, you fucker. Oh, my God. Says, hell yeah, I suck toes.
Why?